update is thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Dr. Don. The show is produced and broadcast from Portland, Oregon, USA. And for your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting guests about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and whatever it is we have decided to talk about. My guest this evening is Charles Kaufman. That's a name. He has some other names, but that's a name he'll be going by this evening, Charles Kaufman. A pianist at the VA on Pill Hill here in Portland. And I'm so glad that you're here to talk about what's going on.
Thank you, Doctor.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm doing good.
Good. And you had a stroke recently.
Thanksgiving evening.
Thanksgiving evening, and you're here now talking to my viewers.
Oh, yeah. God is good.
God is good. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you some questions in the first part of the show about who you are personally, and then we'll talk about what those pins on your hat mean and all kinds of other stuff. You've got a long history. We need 3 hours instead of an hour just for you.
Well, I've had a long life.
Yeah, interesting life for sure. I was in the VA here not too long ago, and my wife went out to the lobby at the hospital, and she saw you playing the piano, grand piano there, and she got visiting with you, and she came back in where I was waiting to have something checked out, and I checked out okay. And she told me about you. I said, I've got to talk to this guy. And here we are now, and you'll be seen all over the world as you talk about your life and what's been going on and why I find you so interesting. So let's see, let's start off now by I always have a trick question or two during the show that I surprise my guests with. So I can ask you my first trick question, or I wait till later on and surprise you. What shall I do? Shall I ask you a trick question now?
Sure.
Okay. Shall I call you Charles?
If you like, yeah.
You bet. Now, if I were to ask you, your best friend, who is Charles? What would your best friend say? Be your best friend and say, Charles is what?
Who is Charles?
Yeah, who is Charles? Now, be your best friend and answer that question for me. Charles is...
That's a trick question.
I warned you.
Charles is, in my eyes, is a rather unique person. He grew up in the Ozarks in Missouri on a pig farm.
Pig farm.
Ended up in the 101st Airborne. And then 29 years on Broadway as a singer, actor, dancer. 29 years on Broadway. Singing and dancing. Yeah. I retired to Portland 35 years ago.
Is Charles a nice guy?
Well, I've been told he is, because he's a Gemini. You know, there's two of him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Which one am I talking to tonight?
You're talking to the good one. The other one comes out about once a year. You don't want to see him.
All right. All right. So let's continue on then. And when and where were you born?
I was born in the state of Illinois, Madison County, 1931.
31. I got you by a few years. I was born in 1928. But
yeah.
I'm not as good looking as you are.
That's questionable.
And anything significant about your cultural or national heritage, or you're just plain old American white bread?
I'm American, white blood, but I was raised in a hard-shell Baptist church in the Ozarks in Missouri, where the services, they wash feet once a month, and so my grandmother raised me, and she wanted me to be a Baptist preacher. Well, when I turned 18, I ran off and joined the 101st Airborne. I didn't have a calling to be a Baptist preacher. But when they sent me to Germany, I was given the job as assistant to the chief of chaplains of Europe. So you can run, but you can't hide. And then I got out of the service in '54 and didn't go back to the farm. I moved to New York City.
How come you don't have an Ozark accent?
Because I have a master's degree in voice.
A master's degree in voice.
Yes. I found a doctor and his wife who was a doctor in New York City, and they thought I had talent. They paid for my 4 years at Juilliard School.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated with a master in voice. That's how I got on Broadway.
I'm a son of a gun. Well, let me continue on with my straight questions, and we'll talk some more about what you're talking about now. And do you have a religious preference nowadays?
Religion is a word to me. The temple of God that I worship is within my own body. There is no mediator between me and God. I have my own personal belief.
Uh-huh. And what is that?
I believe in the Trinity. I believe in Jesus Christ, God, and the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. And that served you in good stead all these years?
That's brought me through that stroke.
Yeah.
It's been my life.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And you mentioned your education, and you've been retired for a while, haven't you?
1979.
79. And what have you been doing all these years you've been in retirement?
Well, I moved to Portland, Oregon on a bet.
On a bet?
On a bet.
Uh-huh.
The choreographer on Broadway that I worked with, and Dave Merrick, the producer, I said, I'm leaving, guys. They said, where are you going? I said, I don't know. And so we were in Sardi's restaurant, and there was a placemat of the United States. Mm-hmm. And Marge, the choreographer, said, I'll put my hands over your eyes, put your finger on it. Wherever it goes, that's where you go. We'll each give you $1,000. Well, there were 3 of them, so that was, in 79, $3,000 was good money, you know?
Oh, my gosh.
So I ended on Oregon. I said, oh, my God. Cowboys, Indians, dirt roads. But then I made a phone call, rented an apartment, and moved here.
Just like that?
Just didn't know anyone.
And you left Broadway?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I was 50.
Uh-huh.
You know. And I've done a lot of things since I've been here. I volunteered with Portland Police Department for a while. At the present time, treasurer for a nonprofit agency called the 7-Step Foundation of the state of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a thing also on Thursday nights under the Burnside Bridge. It's a program called Night Strike.
The Burnside Bridge is a big, important bridge here in Portland, Oregon.
Yes, and we go under there and we feed homeless people. We have sleeping bags, blankets. We have barber chairs, cut hair, wash feet, feed them. We have restaurants that donate food, and with tremendous amount of people we touch.
That's every week?
It's every Thursday. We're down now until the 15th of January because the Saturday market takes over that area for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, then I teach voice and piano at home.
You're still teaching?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to sing a couple of bars of Melancholy Baby. Let me know if you think I got some talent. Never mind. I'm getting a free audition here.
Oh, my God, what am I doing?
No, that's wonderful after all these years.
But I get up every day at 6 o'clock and I go.
Uh-huh.
Keeps me alive. Yeah, I'm 84, you know, this keeps me alive.
You bet, you bet. We'll talk some more about that later on. Do you have a partner now? Boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, whatever? Just by yourself now?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I picked up a couple kids when I moved here 35 years ago and raised them. And the one boy now his name is Paul, and he and his lady are living at my house to look after me.
Uh-huh.
They're in their middle 40s, and he's an HVAC man, and they're just real good and good to me.
Uh-huh.
You know, just like family.
Do you like him?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, I want you to look in camera 3 and tell him what you think of him. Say, Paul?
Paul.
Look at him.
Paul's just like a son to me.
That's wonderful.
And he knows I would do anything for him. He's lived at my house 29 years off and on.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Got his education. He's doing a wonderful job with life. and this lady friend. They're just wonderful. They took very good care of me.
And what's her name?
Her last name is Richards.
And her first name? What do you call her?
What do I call her?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Her name is Laura.
Say something to Laura.
Laura, how are you, darling? I love having you at the house.
Yeah, very good.
She's my computer whiz.
Oh?
Oh, yeah, if I got something wrong, she just goes in there and it's magic. She goes, flip, flip, it's done.
I didn't have an email address for you, so I've got your phone number that'll be up on the screen if anybody wants to get a hold of you and tell you something, okay?
Sure.
All right. And you have any memberships in any organizations that come to mind? The Screen Actors Guild? Or...
Oh, well, yeah, I belong to all those. Screen Actors Guild, Equity, all that. I've sort of dropped them. After years, I'm out of it, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But I belong to American Legion, VFW, DAV, which is Disabled American Veterans.
You belong to all of them? Okay. And any persons alive today or from the past who you look up to or admire a lot? Any names come to mind for you?
Carol Channing.
Carol Channing. Why Carol Channing?
I did a show with Carol. One of my greatest that I really appreciated and loved her a lot was Lauren Bacall. Now, she just passed away about a month ago.
Did you know her?
Oh, yeah. I worked with all these people for
See, all
29...
you old seniors out there, this is going to be a good show for you.
I worked with what we called the biggies.
The biggies.
We had, you know, all the big names. There was an era in the late 40s up to the 60s, through the 60s, that you had all these, and Barbra Streisand, Ella Fitzgerald, Martha Ray, Judy Garland, all these people, Robert Redford,
you met
Bobby
these
Goulet.
people?
I worked with them on stage.
For God's sakes.
I did Bobby Goulet's understudy in music in Camelot.
And Camelot. In
And
Camelot.
worked with Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer in Sound of Music.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did them all. Had a good life. I've had the life that everyone would want to have. When I was studying music, people used to tell me, don't quit your day job. I have never had a day job. I've always worked around to where I could just do what I wanted to do with my music. And I did find I didn't suffer. I didn't lose anything. I had everything I needed, you know. And again, I say, God is good.
Yes. Now, do you think of any other people whose names come to mind who are not in the entertainment business?
Yeah, locally.
Okay.
Yeah. Senator Wyden.
Senator Wyden.
Oh, yeah.
You're political?
I know him as a person.
You met him?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I used to volunteer for a group for the Portland Police Department called Juvenile Rights. And at that time, his office was right next door to mine. And we'd always talk and meet, and yeah, you know, Ron. And he comes into VA. He'll come into VA with his entourage, and he'll come straight back to the piano and sit on the bench, put his arm around me, and everybody's going, "Who's that?"
All your experiences.
Yeah. And the Peterson family that owned the Ringside restaurant. Those guys, yeah, are all good people.
So you've had a rich, full life.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a kind of a political question. Since you've experienced so much of life, I'm going to ask you two questions. What's wrong with America and what's right with America? Just give me your opinion.
I believe like a great president we had at one time believes. He said, America will never fall from the outside. Mr. Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. I don't know what we can do. I don't know. Our country seems to be in a big turmoil, a big mess everywhere you look.
It seems that way, huh?
Yeah. And it's just so different than what I grew up in. I never thought I'd see America in the situation that it's in now, you know.
Yeah.
So many untruthful things going on and actions, and it's just, I just turn it off. I don't even want to listen to it.
Of course.
You know.
Are politicians more corrupt nowadays than they were when you were a boy?
They've always been corrupt.
I didn't ask you that. Okay.
Yeah. It's just a shame how they can't get along.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Of those things you're talking about, what do you think are one or two of those things that's wrong with America that we need to pay attention to right now?
Oh, you don't want me to answer that.
Okay.
No. I said they may shoot me when I leave the building.
No, I'm on some lists already, so you're not by yourself.
Yeah. No,
I think we need to be more loving and kind to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make it a better country and a better world, I think.
Our world needs to be more God-fearing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Where it's going now, people killing people. If these people killed a school full of children,
Oh, man.
And you know, why can't we stop that? Is it political? Why can't government somewhere stop that?
It's composed of human beings, and I'm not sure about whether human beings are mostly good or mostly evil. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Sounds pretty evil lately.
And thank goodness there's a few that I remember, it seems to me, that are mostly good. Remember Jesus, of course, and Martin Luther King and Gandhi, those kinds of characters. Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa. Yeah. But where are they now? We don't have any of those.
Yeah.
We don't have any of those people nowadays. What happened? It's like music. What happened to all the great composers? We don't have any more that you hear of.
Don't you like rap?
I beg your pardon?
Rap music?
I beg your pardon?
I gotta be quicker on the uptake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about one or two of your favorite roles when you're on stage?
The dance captain in My Fair Lady. I was dance captain.
Uh-huh.
I understudied two or three of the big names. In the very beginning, my first show was, Robert, I forgot his face. The show was How to Succeed Without Trying. Morris, Robert Morris.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I did his understudy, and we performed in Chicago, and he was sick or something. I got to go on stage in his place that night. Yeah.
You got fond memories of those.
You know, the most exciting thing that I did on Broadway all those years.
What?
The one thing that has stayed with me, I was doing a solo in a show. I was out front, chorus behind me, and I'm singing, and I looked down, and the second row in front of me was Mr. and Mrs. John F. Kennedy.
You're kidding me.
You ought to seen me sing. I sang my heart out, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That was the most exciting part.
Yeah.
And then I had met his mother. Rose Kennedy had a penthouse suite at the Waldorf Hotel in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And every time that Martha Ray, the actress, was in town, Rose and she were friends, and she'd always ask Martha, you can stay at my suite.
Martha Ray?
Yeah. My mom and Martha were friends. And so every time Mom came to New York, Rose always said, or Martha would say, come on, Dottie, let's stay at. So they'd go up there. Well, one night after a show, I went up to visit with Mom and Martha, and there was Mrs. Kennedy. What a jewel. She was just a precious, sweet little lady.
And you met her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, the memories.
Yeah. I'm writing a book, but I'm doing it on tape. And I talk on this tape, then if I forget something, I go back and erase it and go back. And it's going to be quite interesting. I have a lady friend who says, I want to write this. I know, oh, this is going to be so wonderful. They might make a movie. I said, yeah. I won't charge you. I said, no. We will have a contract because if it sells, you'll be suing me.
Anymore.
Yeah.
The way people are anymore.
And if I'm gone and you want to read the book, it'll be on the market. It's called The Modern Pagliacci. Pagliacci was an opera about a clown, and and the main song in there was "Laugh, Clown, Laugh."
Yes.
But when he was alone, he was alone.
Yeah.
I have done that opera. I sang with the Met for a few months, and so my book's going to be called "The Modern Pagliacci."
The Modern Pagliacci.
Yeah. When I graduated from Juilliard, I auditioned for the Metropolitan Opera. And of course, being a high lyric tenor, I got in. And I sang with them 18 months. And my landlord in New York said, I don't care where you sing, I want my money. Because the Met didn't pay a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when
You're
I
an
auditioned
artist.
for Broadway. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So let's see. Do you watch much TV?
Mostly whatever is on in the news or The Big Bang. Mm-hmm. One of those kind of the nice, clean, funny shows, you know.
Are there any of those anymore? Clean, funny shows?
There's a couple. There's a couple.
Name them, remember?
The Big Bang.
Uh-huh.
And there's one comes on right after it. I forget the name of it. But I usually watch those two in the evening.
Uh-huh.
But the rest of it.
Do you watch 60 Minutes on Sunday?
Yes, I do.
You wouldn't miss it. What do you think of that?
I like it.
It's been on for years and
Forever.
years.
Forever, yeah.
That's one of the best shows.
I love it. And I like the one with Barbara Wawa.
Barbara
Wawa.
Barbara Walters, to you people who don't know.
I knew Barbara in St. Louis. After I got out of the service, I went to St. Louis where my mom lived. Uh-huh. And I was a featured singer they had a place called Gaslight Square. It was like two blocks of just nothing but entertainment. And I was a featured tenor solo at one of those places. And that's where I met Barbara. And we're talking 1955. So she was a young girl then, and I was young.
More.
That's where I met Barbra Streisand.
Uh-huh.
And Tommy and Dickie Smothers.
They're hilarious.
Talking about good shows. 1963, Tommy and Dickie Smothers had a TV show.
Yes, I remember.
They lost their show because one of them said something tainted.
Uh-huh.
Look today.
The stuff
What's going on?
Say now, unbelievable.
It's nudity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I speak to the boys once in a while. The last time they were in town, I picked them up in a limousine and hauled them around.
Did you really?
Yeah, Tom and Dickie. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. There's so many little avenues. I mean, I'm just everywhere.
Yes, you are.
I have met a new neighbor next to me. He's been there maybe 2 months, 3 months. Wonderful, wonderful person. He's a young man, 24. He's different than a lot of the younger men now. He's not a womanizer. He's a street boy.
Yeah.
He's not a womanizer. He's a good Christian boy, I guess you would say.
Sure.
He goes to church, and after my stroke, my bedroom was on the second floor, and I came home, so the doctor wanted me on the first floor in the bedroom, so he and Paul and Brad, the guy that's outside now, came over and moved all my stuff from upstairs downstairs. So Paul said to Zach, is this boy's name, said to Zach, I need to pay you something for this. And Zach said, no, this is God's work. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
To find young people who think like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You draw them to you, probably.
And he's the one who got me going to Night Strike under the bridge. He's been going there some time.
Yeah.
So when he moved in, I got to talking to him. He told me, but I said, I want to go. So I go every Thursday night. We go downtown.
That's wonderful. Yeah. You have any particular people you met at Night Strike, and anybody comes to mind, some unique character?
Oh, yeah. There's a young lady named Emily and her husband, Nathan. Just wonderful people. They're part of the board of Night Strike. And then there's another Zach who is head of the Night Strike deal. And just so many of them. Just so many. And they're all nice people.
Nice people.
We get a lot of teenage volunteers to do that work. High school kids that come down there and want to volunteer and work with the homeless. Yeah.
When we come back from break in a minute or so, I'm going to ask you about some of the stuff you sent me in the mail and about those pins on your hat, and we get some more stories from you, okay?
Okay.
Mr. E, can we take a break? Yeah, he's quiet. So
we take a break.
The mic. We're back. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'm having a delightful time with my friend here. And for you viewers who missed the opening of the show, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of 1-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like Charles here, the VA pianist, about who he is and his adventures in his life. And it's been deucedly interesting. I can't think of a guest in over 15 years that is interesting and fascinating as you are. And I speak truth, I'm honest, okay? So let's continue on sort of where we left off. And during the break, you told me something that I wanted to remember. Remember what you said during the break?
About the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say it again out loud. We're on camera.
When I was stationed in Germany, I was assistant to the chief of chaplains of Europe. And my chaplain was a Catholic priest, and wherever he went, I went. I was his assistant. And we crossed the desert, went into Rome, and we had an audience with the Pope in 1952.
And you were there?
I met him.
The Pope?
The Pope.
Oh, man alive.
Yeah, walked in the Vatican, and it was like, whoa. It was all gold. Everything was gold. You know, I thought, wow, I was young. I was 18. You know. But it was a very good experience.
But you were a Baptist at that time.
I was a Baptist.
And how did you feel being with this Pope, the head of the Catholic Church?
It was different.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know for sure how to feel. I wasn't frustrated with the situation. I just didn't know, what am I going to do now?
There's an 18-year-old kid.
I just followed the chaplain. Whatever he did, I did, right or wrong.
Yeah. So, you're going to say something else?
No.
Okay. In the material you sent me, you mentioned that you were a preemie.
A what?
A preemie. You were
Yes.
a little person.
I was born just a fraction over a pound. I was a blue baby, almost 3 months early. I was sick all my life until I reached about 29 or 30. And I contacted infectious hepatitis. And they put me in the hospital in New York and changed my blood. And when they changed the blood, I've never been sick again.
And that was many years ago.
60s.
You see now, I've been around a few years, but I'm hearing stuff from you that I didn't know existed at that time.
Oh, they kept me in an incubator. Like you do chicken eggs when you want to hatch them.
They kept you warm.
Yeah.
And look what you turned out to be.
I have newspaper articles where they used to put me in a nickel matchbox in the hospital, or the nurses would carry me in their apron pocket. I was tiny.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the, never mind.
No, I don't.
And there's Miss Vera Jones. Who is that?
Vera Jones was the lady who started my musical career. Vera Jones was my high school teacher. She taught chorus. And she had lived in New York at one time and done quite a few things with her voice. And she picked me out and she said, I'm going to make a singer out of you. And she did. I'd take lessons with her every week, all through high school. And just one thing after another, won first place in state and county and in solos and all that. And she's the one who got me started. Yeah.
And did you pay her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I sold eggs to pay her.
Sold eggs?
Yeah, we raised chickens. And I would sell eggs during the week. As a kid, I'd go around and sell eggs to people's houses.
Did you?
And milk. We had cows. But we're talking, you know, the late 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
When life was good.
When life was good. I think of those musicals and light opera and all those Oklahoma, and those are just wonderful times.
Oh, yeah. I heard from Streisand recently. She's going to do Fiddler on the Roof, the movie. And she said something about having to lose 35 pounds, though. So she's up here in the years with the rest of us.
So you heard from her recently?
Yeah. Babs. Yeah.
She did a concert not too many years ago, and I was surprised at her age. She was just so perfect. At her age, she sounded as good as she did 30 years before.
That woman's phenomenal. The voice out of this one, and control. Great control for her voice. And it hasn't left. She hasn't lost it. You know, even as she's getting a little older, she's still got it.
She ever hug you?
Yeah. I met her in St. Louis the first time when she was 18 or 19, when I was singing at that place called Gaslight Square where I met Tommy and Dickie Smothers.
Yeah.
And Hermione Gingo. I don't know if you remember Hermione Gingo.
Yes, I do. All my old viewers are going to love you out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tent revivals. You were performing in tent revivals?
In what?
Tent revivals.
Oh, tent revivals. As I told you, Grandma had her heart set on me being a Baptist preacher. So high school, every summer, she'd line me up with these evangelists to travel over Appalachia and Oklahoma, Illinois, Missouri, playing piano and singing in tent revivals. It was a carnival.
Yeah. Any memories or thoughts come to mind when you think about your time in the 101st Airborne?
Haven't what?
The 101st Airborne. You were in the Airborne.
Had a good time. Loved it.
Did you jump out of airplanes?
I jumped out of airplanes in Korea.
Wow. And you got wounded in Korea?
No, I lost my hearing.
Uh-huh.
Our first jump in Korea, there was a guy that came from St. Louis. He joined the same summer. We got to be friends. We went through basic together.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped us in Korea. It was like after midnight, dark. And we all got to the ground. I couldn't find him just about daylight. I found him. And we creeped out to a field that was quiet, no noise, could hear a cricket. We're down behind a big mound of dirt, waiting for orders. Well, Joe decided he had something in his pocket he wanted. He got up on his knees, put his hand in his pocket, and fell over dead.
Sniper. Right next to you. Oh my gosh, yeah. That must have hurt.
Yeah, they fell right on me. And there was a sniper just across. We didn't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't know about PTSD in those days.
Uh-huh.
They called it shell shock.
Yes, I remember shell shock.
But it's PTSD.
Yeah. Do you experience even now a little bit of the memories or feelings of those times?
Always.
Always, yes. And you've managed through the years. Yeah.
Yep.
So you left Korea and went to Japan?
Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Yeah, I was a gunner on what they call a 57 recoilless rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a bazooka. You hold it on your shoulder, and a guy behind you loads it, and when it's loaded, he taps you on the helmet, and then it fires right past you. That's how I lost my hearing over here.
Oh, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they hooked me up with the chaplain. Mm-hmm. I couldn't hear too well, but I could play the piano. I play all those churches. I play for the Protestants, the Jewish, and the Catholic services.
All of them?
Mm-hmm. I got a good education in liturgical music.
Uh-huh. And where did you get that education from?
Right there.
All those people? Right there?
Right there
on
with
the
the
spot. The Metropolitan Opera.
Yeah.
You got a few words about your time with the Met?
Maria Callas.
Maria Callas.
Maria Callas. We were doing La Boheme, my first show. Everybody's ready, the overture's playing, curtain call, knock on her door, Miss Callas, curtain. 7 minutes. She don't answer. They go in. She's gone. She had gone out the window. The next day, the newspaper, New York City newspaper said, Sign of the Dove. Sign of the Dove is a very elegant restaurant with no prices. If you can afford to go there, you go there. Sign of the Dove has cat fight. Somebody called Callas in her room and told her that Jackie Kennedy with Onassis at the Sign of the Dove. And she went out her window and went over there. Had a fight with Jackie Kennedy. Yeah. She was the opera Barbra Streisand.
Mm-hmm. Maria Callas, yes.
Yeah. Those people were all gone.
Yeah, and you're still here.
Yeah.
How about the voices nowadays? What's that Italian tenor who was blind and beautiful?
Yeah, okay.
Great voice.
Yeah, I know who you mean. He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's very
There's
good.
still some beautiful voices out there.
Yeah, yeah. In between shows, I worked for a gentleman called Arthur Matera in New York City. He was a costume executor. I would go down into the garment district and buy boats and boats of material and take them back, and he'd give me what to buy. And then he had all these people who made costumes for Broadway and for the Metropolitan Opera. And they were mostly all European ladies do that sewing.
What a wealth of experience. I sang and danced my way for 29 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sang and danced.
The Portland Police Department. Any stories about that time you spent with the Portland Police Department?
They were all good times. I went to ARP because I was bored. I had nothing to do. I went to ARP, and ARP says, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to work the police department." I said, "Okay."
See what ARP is? American Association of Retired Persons. Yeah, I belong to them.
So they put me in domestic violence with a gentleman named James Macier. He was the captain. And he taught me about how to work with domestic. I did have one experience. I had two ladies from Russia come up to the window, and I asked them, they want to file rape charges on the one girl's husband. So, the story was the gentleman had gone with the other girl for a year or two, dropped her, and married her sister. Now they both want to file rape charges. I said, "Ladies, do you have your passport?" "Yeah." "Go back."
You're a great counselor.
Yeah, just go back where you came from.
Did they go back?
Why, they left the office. I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
If they went back or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't have been right.
No, it wouldn't have been right. But you never know what humans are going to do next, right?
Yeah, they were European ladies, and they they may still be here. They may be watching.
Now, a few of the big names you mentioned, the celebrities, there's been stuff written about them. Do you recall reading anything about JFK or Franklin Roosevelt or any of those characters?
Read all that garbage, but you just make your own, you draw your own opinion. I thought Roosevelt, he was during Second World War, right? I was going in high school, I believe, when Roosevelt was passed away. JFK, I had my own opinion. I thought it was wonderful. I tell everybody we need him again today. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's Obama doing?
Mr. Obama. Somebody voted him in, and then somebody voted him in again, so he must be doing something.
Must be doing something right, huh? Let's talk about some of those pins on your hat. Do you remember what they're about?
The wings in the middle are the 101st Airborne.
I remember that.
The silver bar is First Lieutenant. There's a little star type over here is for privacy. I had to handle private papers and things. They're just everything.
I bet you're getting a lot of conversations with the veterans at the VA when they see what's on your hat.
Oh yeah. In fact, today, a lady, see if I got it in my pocket. A lady gave me another medal, and I don't know, a little tiny medal, but I don't know no, it was in my pocket. I must have left it home. Yeah, it's a little tiny thing about Paratus. It's a little picture of a parachute, a little medal with a parachute on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do me all kinds of things.
Of course.
I absolutely love what I do there. Sometimes they don't like what I do, but that's okay. That's okay, you know.
You can't please everybody all the time.
No, no.
I bet for the most part they appreciate you being there.
Maybe I shouldn't say this. I helped a veteran, 31 years old, who told me he was going to the methadone lab. He used to hang out at the piano. He told me on a Friday, if I don't get home by Sunday or Monday, I'm going to do it in. I'm tired of sleeping under the bridge. Within 4 hours, I had him at home. He's got a job, back in college, 19 months ago. And he's alive, not under the bridge. The hospital went bananas.
Why?
The lady in the methadone lab called my supervisor, told him I was messing with the mental health of the methadone patients. Then my supervisor calls me in the office, had a lady there from HR. I said, who is this?
Human Resources.
Yeah, Human Resources. Who is this? Well, Miss So-and-so from HR. Well, she's here. I have to have a witness. I opened the door. This lady pushed me from the backside, kicked the door shut, said, you're not going anywhere. I looked at her and I said, undoubtedly you didn't know I used to work with police department. What you just did is a criminal act on government property, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. She says, so what, you want to hit me? Okay. So I stayed because then I didn't know if my supervisor was smart enough to pull insubordination, but I knew she would, so I stayed. So the program she had was, you play the piano here. You cannot do anything for a veteran. You can't find them homes, jobs, food, clothing, nothing. You understand? I said, I understand what you said. I want you to understand what I'm going to say. Screw you.
You did that?
Yes. What are they going to do, eat me? Can't kill me. It's freedom of speech.
How long ago was this?
It's been 2 years. My supervisor hasn't spoke to me in 2 years.
But you're still there.
I'm still there. I just came back with a note from the doc that it was okay for me to come back after having the stroke. I gave it to the lady up front, and they welcomed me back, and all. He never budged. He sat in his office, didn't come out. That's okay, you know. So,
would you say
their day's coming.
Would you say that you are assertive?
Really? It's positive. Everything in my life is positive. There's no negative. I have that much negativity in my life. Everything to me is positive. It's either yes or no. Not if I can, or maybe I'll say no. It's yes or no.
How'd you get to be that way?
Years of being walked on. For a lot of years, I had a very bad persecution complex. All at once, one day, I realized they don't pay my rent, they don't buy my clothes, they don't buy my food. What am I doing? I take care of me. Okay. And with the grace of God, it works that way.
How come you're so kind to everybody?
That's the way I'm supposed to be. My mother told me before she died, you'd be a multimillionaire if you hadn't helped so many people. I said, Mom, I couldn't take it with me, and I get joy from helping other people.
Yeah.
You know, God gives it to me, and I help somebody else with it.
We need more like you.
I don't know, sometimes I wonder, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Answer the question. What are you doing, Charles?
I'm helping other people.
Yeah.
I'm lifting souls and helping them get through this life. You know, I have nobody to worry about. You know, oh, there's Paul and his lady and little Zach. I have to worry about those three, but most of it's just, you know, I just see that anybody that I can get a hold of, I can help them. I help them. I still help them at the VA. I still help guys at the VA, or ladies. They come to me, and I've been there so long, and before they go to anybody else, they come to me and say, well, I need this. I could do. Could you find this for me? How do I do this? Because a lot of times, the people in charge at the VA, a lot of times you get a lot of lip service.
Yes.
And we have a new director who is marvelous. She really is. And things are really straightening out. This woman is sent from heaven.
Good.
Yeah, she's a good person. Business. Strictly business.
I love the VA.
Yeah.
Been going there for years.
Yeah.
And
They've been...
January 8th, which is a couple weeks away, I'm going to go in for hernia surgery. Yeah, and I keep thinking, why is it I'm having these things go wrong? And then I used to say to my wife, I'm getting old. And now I say to her, I'm getting older. There's a difference.
Medical help at the VA is marvelous.
It is.
And if they can't do it, they outsource you to OHSU.
Yeah.
Who has a lot of wonderful doctors.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've had lens transplants, I've had a heart attack, I've had a pacemaker. I mean, just wonderful, wonderful things have happened.
Are you the bionic man?
Almost.
Listen, we've got some more time left. I wonder if you have some thoughts or whatever else you want to tell the viewers out there. And we have viewers all over the world, primarily in the U.S. and occasionally I'll get feedback from China or Norway. Or whatever. Yes,
really?
Yes. So what would you tell the viewers out there that would be of value from you, from Charles? Just look at that camera number 3 and talk to my viewers.
The biggest thing that I believe is of any value in any human's life is believing in your Creator. Whatever you want to call him, it's your Creator. And living a positive life. Nothing bad is going to happen to me, and you have to believe that, because if you don't believe it, you leave an open door.
You have been wonderful to talk with and visit with. And I'll make it a point to come up to the VA when I'm not going up for surgery or something else.
Yeah. I'm up there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. What time of the day?
9:30 to 1 or so. They don't let me start before 9:30 because they're afraid I'll wake up a government employee.
You hear that now? The Portland VA on Pill Hill, that's where the main hospital is, and this is where Charles hangs out and does his thing 3 days a week. And come up there and say hello to him, even if you're not a vet. I'm sure he'll be glad to see you. And it's been a wonderful time talking about all kinds of things with you.
Thank you, Doctor.
You have any more final thoughts? We have another minute or two.
No, nothing really.
Okay.
I got to go home and get something to eat.
You hungry? I ate all the pizza.
No. I do the diabetic thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and since the stroke, I really stick to the diabetic thing.
Yeah. So things are going to be fine with the stroke, and you're recovered.
I'm good as gold.
Okay, Mr. Reed, you may choose some important PSAs to put up and whatever else you want to do. Oh, to watch my shows on the web, Google Don Baham YouTube. There are many, many of my shows through the 15 years on the web that you can choose from. I interview all kinds of people, MDs, pizza makers, truck drivers, physicians, even a few politicians now and then, and have a good time. And the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, without the ACLU, I think our civil liberties would be in worse shape than they're in right now. We got to protect our civil liberties to be sure this wonderful experiment in democracy continues on in the way it's been going all this time. And we got to end corporate personhood. The Supreme Court said that corporations are persons, and that's kind of goofy in my opinion. And there's been all sorts of things that have been going on since then, such as the belief that money is speech. So money is not speech. All money is doing in the hands of politicians is buying the politicians so that they behave and perform to benefit the corporations rather than ordinary citizens like Charles and I. The American Humanist Association. I'm a humanist, and I used to be a Roman Catholic, but I discovered humanism suits my thinking more and my belief system. Go to www, the American Humanist Association, and learn about humanism and American humanists. That's proselytizing a little bit, but I embrace all beliefs and structures. And the Alliance for Democracy is a national organization that talks about political and social issues and justice. And there's the Portland chapter here in Portland, Oregon, and their website is www.afd-pdx.org to learn about the Alliance for Democracy. David Delk is our president there, and he has a TV show, The Populist Dialogues, and go to that website and click on AFD videos, and there's a whole bunch of interviews that David has done through the years talking to his guests about political and social issues and justice and those kinds of things. I got to remind you to remember KFC, not Kentucky Fried Chicken. Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable, like my friend Charles here. He's all three of those things and other things too. Thanks again for watching, and be sure and watch my shows on my website. Thanks again, and good night.